Oh, hello, just a quick update on the Vauxhall Astra here. I've done a couple services on this if you've caught my other videos, and I recently had the owner of the vehicle, not long after I did the service, say it wasn't starting. So I had a good look at it, and my first worry was there doesn't seem to be any record of the timing belt being changed, but so I checked that, and that was fine. And then I checked the fuel system, and there's no fuel going to it. But just by chance I said, oh, you don't have the spare key on you, and we tried the spare key and it started right up. So basically what it was is the immobilizer on the key was malfunctioning, and it was a simple issue of just trying the spare key. And so I just thought I'd mention that just in case anybody ever comes up with a similar issue. You know, it could be something as simple as that. So that's the model of the vehicle, just you know, if you're wondering. And so my job for today is to it's just had an MOT, and it was an advisory. It was the track end rods knackered basically, so there's only one side it was advisory on, but I thought for the cost of it I'll do both sides as well then. So we're just going to have a quick go at that. There they are in our ball. So yeah, they're the fellas we're going to be changing. So after doing them I'll probably have to have the tracking done on the vehicle as well, so it's bound to go out a little bit. So but I'll get on with that, and wish me luck, and haven't done one before, so hopefully it should be pretty straightforward. Alright, wheel off, and here's the offending object. There's way too much movement in there. It's you can actually feel it. It's as hard as it has, so it shakes back. I'll just not looking forward to undoing that bolt. Where is it? Am I catching? Yeah, there it is. We shall see if it behaves itself, but it looks like it's pretty well rusted in. So we'll have a bash at that, and I'll just put the new one alongside it, make sure I got the right one before I make a start on that. Right, I'll show you where we are at the moment. I've managed to undo that bolt, so all I've done is slacken it off a bit and then wound it back to the position it's in, if that makes sense. So theoretically when I put the new tie rod end in, that should be the correct position, if that makes sense. And then, you know, I'll still get it the wheel alignment done anyway, and I've undone the ball joint at the bottom there, so I just need to pop that off. On other vehicles I've done, I've just hit the side and it pops off, but it was attached to the bottom of the vehicle, so it's all dropped down. This one's attached to the top, so I have got a ball splitter if required. So that's where we're at the moment, and we'll have another quick look at it once I whip it off in. Right, we've separated that. That was quite easy. I just bashed on the side of the housing there, of the ball unit there, and it just popped off. And when I've come to undo that there, that bolt hasn't actually moved along that thread at all. It's just come undone there, if you see what I mean. So the positioning of the new one should be relatively easy. Well, that's the theory. And if it's exactly the same size, it should be more or less aligned, but like I said, I will get it changed anyway. But you can have a good look at the condition of this one. It's way too, it's had it basically. You can see it's way too floppy there, and I did have to grab the end of it there with a mole grip. So the last little bit of thread was really caked up with rust, and I struggled to get it off. So you can just about see I grabbed it with the mole grips there and just undid the last little bit. So we'll whip that off, and it will be just a case of whipping the new one on. And because I'm a stickler for detail, I'll put a bit of grease in there as well before I put the new one on. There we go. And then here's the new one, so I'll just whip that on, but it's just a matter of screwing that on, but I'll do it off camera just because I want to put a bit of grease on there first and just make sure everything's in it. The other thing important, all the hammering and knocking about and everything, just make sure that hole's really clean as well where the ball joint goes back in then. Right, we'll get all that together and we'll take a last look at it then. Right, all done. There's a new track end rod on, and I don't know whether it's worth mentioning, but that bolt there, when I took the original part off, it was 18mm, a slightly unusual size, but the replacement bolt I put on, the new one, is 19mm, so just make sure you get the right size bolt on there. Rather right size socket I meant, sorry. So yeah, slightly, don't come across many 18mm bolts, but yeah, all done. Relatively straightforward. I was hoping, I'm glad it wasn't a headache, but that was changing a track end rod on a Vauxhall Astra, and they're all pretty much the same, very similar. So if it's not too rusted in, it's probably something that you could have a go at. But as usual, just like and subscribe, and hope you enjoy the videos, and all comments and are most welcome, hopefully constructive. Okay, thanks then.